This 17 News at Noon podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maddie Jansen. A young woman lost her life this weekend in a house fire in East Bakersfield. Callista Thompson was only 22 years old, but her family says she lived her whole life with a painful and debilitating condition known as epidermolysis bullosa, which makes her skin blister and peel. Saturday, flames broke out in the home on Laguna Street, where she lived with her mother, stepfather, and sister. Thompson's stepfather says the smoke alarm in Thompson's room never went off. The rest of the family escaped, but Thompson did not.
He told me, she's gone, get out of here. Get out of here, she's gone. And so I have our 10-year-old and I'm shooing her out the door, and I'm like, come on, she's screaming for her sister. She wants to go in, and I'm like, no, we gotta go out. I'm on the phone with 911. I'm telling them, please hurry.
Friends set up a GoFundMe page to help the family with funeral and housing costs. You can find a link on our website at kget.com. Fire crews are still looking into what caused the fire, and we'll have more on this story tonight on 17 News at 5 and 6. Bakersfield Police, Kern County Sheriff's Office, the FBI, and Kern High and Panama Buena Vista school districts are all working together to investigate online threats made against local schools. Golden Valley High School, Thompson Junior High, and Edison Middle School all released statements saying they're aware of the threats. Both KCSO and BPD says this appears to be part of a national trend of anonymous online school threats. Sheriff Johnny Youngblood said they have no credible information that there is a real threat.
Be alert, we're on alert, and we will do our best to protect your children.
An increased law enforcement presence in and around schools may be seen as they continue to investigate. The National Guard has dispatched medical teams to 3 Bakersfield hospitals as staffing shortages continue to plague local health care centers. 14 National Guard caregivers are supporting Dignity Health staff and patients at Mercy Southwest, and 10 more are providing assistance at Bakersfield Memorial Hospital. Officials say the COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated a staffing shortage, and several weeks ago they requested assistance from the National Guard due to a surge in COVID-19 patients at their hospitals in Reading and Bakersfield. Adventist Health has also requested help from the National Guard. A 14-person team was expected to arrive there this weekend. Meantime, Public Health announced 819 new cases and 6 new deaths this morning from over the weekend. Since the beginning of the pandemic, 1,553 people have died due to the virus in Kern County. Hospitalization rates continue to drop. At last check, 245 people were in local hospitals. Another 76 patients are in the ICU.
Clinica Sierra Vista is now offering rapid COVID-19 testing and COVID-19 vaccinations. Call 833-278-4584 to make your appointment. But don't delay. Clinica Sierra Vista, putting patients first.
And making news around the state, crews on the water and on shore continue to work to limit environmental damage from one of the largest oil spills in recent state history. The spill is believed to be caused by a leak in an underwater pipeline that fouled the sands of famed Huntington Beach and could keep the beaches there closed for weeks or longer. As of this morning, about 3,150 gallons of oil had been recovered from the water. More than 5,300 feet of booms were deployed on the ocean surface to try to contain the oil, while divers sought to determine where and why the leak occurred. On land, there was a race to find animals harmed by the oil and keep the spill from harming any more sensitive marshland. Your 17 homicide tracker. A man found dead in southwest Bakersfield over the weekend. Police found the man unconscious and bleeding just before 3 Sunday morning in the area of Ming Avenue and Valhalla Drive near West High School. The man has not been identified. Investigators say he may have been attacked at a nearby car wash on American Avenue before dying in an alley. Anyone with information on this crime is urged to call police. And police arrest 2 men they believe shot and killed another man last week just blocks from Memorial Hospital. 45-year-old Eddie Raymond Bustamante Sr. was killed September 27th. On Friday, officers arrested 38-year-old Emil Alvari and 24-year-old Angelo Rodriguez. Both men were booked into the county jail on suspicion of murder and violating the terms of their state parole status. Anyone with information regarding the investigation is encouraged to call the police department. The CHP suspects alcohol may be a factor in a deadly crash that took the life of a 24-year-old Arvin woman. It happened just before noon yesterday on Edison Highway near Comanche Drive. CHP says the woman did not stop at a stop sign, lost control, and crashed with another vehicle and motorcycle. A couple and a little girl in the other vehicle sustained minor to moderate injuries, and the motorcycle rider was not hurt. CHP also says it appears the driver, who was killed, was not wearing her seatbelt. In Washington now, the Supreme Court kicks off its next term today. The court will hear its first in-person oral argument since the pandemic forced proceedings to go virtual 19 months ago. The 9 justices will consider pivotal cases concerning religion, guns, and abortion issues. President Biden today criticized Republicans for threatening to block a raise to the debt ceiling in Congress with what he called procedural tricks. He also emphasized how raises to the debt limit in the past have been a bipartisan undertaking and urged Congress to act soon.
So let me be really clear. This is really important to know. Raising the debt limit is about paying off our old debts. There's nothing to do with any new spending being considered. There's nothing to do with my plan for infrastructure or building back better. Zero. Both of which I might add are paid for. So if we're going to make good on what's already been approved by previous Congresses and previous presidents and parties, we have to pay for it. Social Security benefits. The American people are promised salaries for servicemen and women, benefits for veterans. We're going to have to raise the debt limit if we're going to meet those obligations. And raising the debt limit is usually a bipartisan undertaking, and it should be. That's what is not happening today.
All right, welcome back. New evacuation orders are being issued as firefighters lose ground in the fight against the KNP complex fire. The fire has burned more than 67,000 acres and is now only 11% contained, down from 20% at yesterday's update. Fire crews estimate the size of the fire went up about 5,000 acres overnight. Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks remain closed to the public. Fortunately, fire crews are faring better against another fire in Tulare County, making considerable progress against the Windy Fire. It's burned more than 94,000 acres on the Tule River Indian Reservation and Sequoia National Forest since it was sparked by lightning on September 9th. However, the fire's now 68% contained, up from 40% Friday. An evacuation shelter is open at Porterville College. And meantime, these fires continue to bring smoke into Kern County. Golden Empire Transit says it will offer free rides today because of the poor air quality. An AQI over 150 is considered unhealthy and potentially hazardous to the general population. The free rides cover Kget's fixed routes and on-demand paratransit. On-demand microtransit will require riders to pay fares. Business Watch, if you're trying to log on to Facebook today, you may have a hard time. The social media giant suffered a major outage today. The problems also affected Instagram and WhatsApp customers. This was the only message today when users tried to hit those sites. Facebook says they're aware of the issue and they're working to get things back to normal, and checking right now, at least on my Instagram, and still things are not updating. After nearly 2 weeks of live music and deep-fried food, the 2021 Kern County Fair's in the books. It was a return to form for the annual event, which skipped last year due to the pandemic. Steps were taken to alleviate health worries this time around, with free vaccines offered on site, mask recommendations, and even the fair itself shutting down for 2 days for deep cleaning. We're waiting on fair officials for this year's final attendance numbers. Meantime, as that closes, pumpkin patches around town are opening up, and another fall favorite is back. Banducci Farms is reopening its pumpkin patch for the fall starting today. This after taking last year off due to the pandemic. Admission is $5 per person, with the exception of those under 5 who get in free. That $5 ticket gets you a trip through the corn maze. And the pumpkin patch will be open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Education news now, and CSUB is celebrating a big donation, giving them the ability to offer a new degree. This morning, Assemblymember Rudy Salas announced $6 million in state funding for the university. The money will allow CSUB to offer a doctorate degree in the nurse practitioner program. It will be only the second doctorate degree program available at CSUB. The program is still under development.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.